From certain gorillas no longer considered an endangered species to the discovery of a possible prehistoric Loch Ness monster, this is Trending Tuesday. Number 7. Pandemonium. Known as a symbol of conservation, the giant panda bears have been featured in the World Wildlife Fund's logo since 1961, and now they can breathe a sigh of relief because giant pandas are no longer considered an endangered species. The International Union for Conservation of Nature reported that the giant panda population had increased enough for the pandas to be downgraded to vulnerable. That follows decades of conservation efforts, including the banning of poaching the animals and creating a panda reserve system that increased available habitats. Breeding efforts were also ramped up, and earlier in 2016, a Belgian zoo welcomed a healthy male cub to the world. But the IUCN also tempered the good news with a few cautious notes. Decreasing availability of bamboo and climate change could hinder the panda's progress. The IUCN says that over a third of the panda's bamboo habitat might vanish over the next 80 years. The organization says the giant panda will be considered a, quote, conservation-dependent species for the foreseeable future. Number 6. While the pandas got some good news, other members of the animal kingdom were not quite so fortunate. The IUCN also announced that the endangered status of Grauer's gorillas, the biggest apes in the world, has been raised from endangered to critically endangered. That's the highest category ahead of extinction. In a single generation, the population of these animals has fallen from around 17,000 individuals in 1995 to an estimated 3,800 today. That is a 77% drop, according to the Wildlife Conservation and Fauna and Flora Society. Grauer's gorillas are found in forested habitats in the eastern area of the Democratic Republic of Congo. They can weigh over 400 pounds and stand around 5.5 feet tall. Among the factors contributing to the drop in population are civil war in the Democratic Republic of Congo and bushmeat hunting, or the animals being hunted for food. Another animal getting their threatened status raised was the plains zebra. It's now considered near threatened. Over the past 14 years, its population has dropped around 24%, mostly due to hunting. The IUCN said the plains zebra population has fallen to 500,000 individuals from 660,000. Not the best week to be a Grauer's gorilla or a plains zebra. But hey, how about those pandas? Number 5. Flying blind. We know that bats generate sounds that bounce off objects to help them navigate. It's called echolocation, and they use that ability because they're blind, right? Well, not so fast. New research has shown that bats really are not blind, and depending on the circumstances, they can prefer to use their vision to locate prey when hunting, as opposed to using sound. There are at least 1,300 species of bat, and some species have visual receptors, allowing them to see in daylight and perceive colors. Some can even see ultraviolet light. As certain bat species evolved to feed off flowers, insects, or blood, it's also thought that different species evolved various visual abilities as well. Those feeding off flowers, for example, could use their ultraviolet light vision to locate many flowers that reflect UV light. And a 2015 study showed that some bats use both echolocation and vision, the Egyptian fruit bat being an example. Researchers also noted that bats echolocate more the darker it is, but still produce sounds even in bright daylight, suggesting the creatures combine information from both sources to better gauge distances. Number 4. Following the footsteps. A woman was collecting seashells in Cable Beach near the town of Broome in West Australia when she felt an indentation beneath her feet. Brushing away the wet sand, she found animal tracks that turned out to be dinosaur footprints from the Cretaceous period some 130 million years ago. Scientists think the three-toed tracks belong to a theropod that's found only in the Dampier Peninsula, located north of Broome. It's the only area of Australia where dinosaurs of the Cretaceous period have been recorded. A paleontologist who measured the tracks said the animal could have been over 13 feet long. While tracks like these are familiar to indigenous peoples of the region, these particular tracks haven't been reported in over 40 years. Number 3. Thousands of people rallied in Madrid to bring an end to bullfighting, and it was thought to be the biggest anti-bullfighting protest to date. Public outcry over the past few years seems to be taking effect as the number of bullfights in Spain has diminished. The so-called sport has been banned in the Canary Islands and in the region of Catalonia. Castilla y León, Spain's largest autonomous community, has banned the killing of bulls at their local festivals, and the current mayor of Madrid has withdrawn subsidies for bullfighting schools. A recent poll found that only 19% of Spanish adults now support bullfighting, while 58% oppose the traditional pastime. The practice has come under even more criticism in 2016 as the first matador in 30 years was gored to death during a live TV broadcast. Do you think it's time that the tradition of bullfighting was put out of its and the bull's misery? Number 2. Fossilized food chain. Another amazing fossil was discovered in the UNESCO World Heritage Site Messelpit in Germany. Scientists revealed the discovery of a well-preserved fossilized snake, which contained a fossilized lizard in its belly, and the lizard in turn contained a fossilized beetle it had consumed. The fossil food chain is thought to be around 48 million years old. The snake measured approximately 103 centimeters long and was likely a relative of modern-day boas. The lizard was around 20 centimeters long and belonged to a family that includes the helmeted iguana of today. Unfortunately, the beetle remains a mystery because it was not preserved as well. To find a tripartite fossil like this is considered extremely rare. In fact, there's only one other example of a 3-level food chain that's so perfectly preserved, and that was found in the 280 million-year-old fossil of a shark that had eaten an amphibian which had eaten a fish. The new discovery dates to the Eocene period and is the first such specimen found at the Messelpit, which is known for yielding fantastic fossils. Number 1. The Store Loch Monster. Could it have been a real-life Nessie? Well, maybe, or as close as we might get. In 1966, an amateur fossil collector made an amazing discovery close to the Store Loch power station on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. Nearly half a century later, it was revealed to be the fossilized skeleton of a marine reptile dating back some 170 million years. Experts think the animal measured around 13 feet long and was an ichthyosaur, also known as fish lizards. They were large sea reptiles that roamed the waters between 250 and 90 million years ago. They were fast swimmers and had cone-shaped teeth and long, narrow snouts, not unlike dolphins. The creature's remains were revealed to the public last week. Scientists said they kept the fossil in storage for so long because the technology wasn't available to remove the hard rock surrounding the skeleton. Now that it's been revealed, the inevitable comparisons to the Loch Ness monster are being made. Now, some monster hunters have speculated that Nessie might be a descendant of ancient predators like ichthyosaurs or plesiosaurs that lived during the Jurassic and were noted for their long necks. The plesiosaurs, that is. There is one major difference between Nessie and the Store Loch monster, though. The newly revealed ichthyosaur actually did exist, and Nessie is still a myth. Or is she? Do you think there could be a connection between the two creatures?